Good news for Skull and Bones pirates that have been patiently waiting for the PvP mode to be added. It is coming very, very soon after many months of them testing it and getting feedback, tweaking it. Hopefully, the final product, well, it's going to be in beta, but hopefully, Death Tides will be well worth the wait for all Skull and Bones players that have been wanting the PvP mode added. Ever eager to assert your dominance in the Indian Ocean, are we, Captain? You'll need more than just power to succeed in Death Tides. We've got your back. Check out the Death Tide dev blog. All right, so they also included this basic cliff notes here. We're gonna go over the game modes, the ships, rewards, and more. Article link below in the description section. The Death Tides. We're back with another death blog. As you know, some of us have been eagerly waiting for more information on Death Tides. Our new dedicated PvP game mode, Death Tides, will be launching on the 27th of May with Year 2 Season 1 mid-season update. Until then, dive with us to dig out all the information you need to be ready for it. Enter Death Tides. The war between the DMC and the French is spilling over from Europe, with each side determined to establish supremacy in the Indian Ocean. Meanwhile, local factions are pushing back against the megacorporations' efforts while locked in conflict with each other. As a result, the megacorporations and factions are engaging in fierce skirmishes on the edge of the Indian Ocean. These battles reflect the ever-present race to determine who is dominating or defending. Eager for victory, participating factions offer lucrative and promising rewards to pirate captains who will aid them in battle. How to unlock and access Death Tides. For new players, you'll be able to access Death Tides from the main menu once you've completed the opening sequence. So you got to do the tutorial first in order to get Death Tides. Most of us have already done that, so we don't have to worry about that. For the existing captains, unlock Death Tides in the journal. You'll need to have completed the contract Into the Lion's Den and then embarked on the contract Death Tides, where you'll look for the new Death Tides vendor in either St. Anne or Telok Penjara. Once you've unlocked it, you can access Death Tides from the main menu, visit the vendor at St. Anne or Telok Penjara, and simply access it from your journal. So here is the different locations where you can find Death Tides. I think this is this St. Anne? I believe this is St. Anne. One of them is St. Anne. Yeah, I think this is Telok. So you'll find the Death Tides guy here in Telok, and then this one's in St. Anne, FYI. Once again, this is coming on May 27th. There's going to be basically two game modes. We got Tiebreaker, Fleet Fire. We'll talk about both. You'll face off against other players in the intense, skill-based naval battles. Rise above the rest. You'll need to prove your worth and crush your enemies. Fleet Fire, which is basically team deathmatch. Fleet Fire pits two teams against each other with team sizes varying based on the map. Objective, straightforward, sink enemy ships, score points. Here's a quick rundown of how the mode works. I mean, if you played death matches before, you get the idea. Team formation. Players join one of two teams with the size of each team depicted depending on the size of the map. The scoring points, each time you sink an enemy ship, your team gets a point. And the goal is to be the first team to reach a certain number of points, just like any other deathmatch or team deathmatch. Winning the match, victory is achieved by reaching a target number of points before the opposing team. Should neither team reach the required number of points before the timer runs out, the team with the highest number of points will win. What? Okay, so I get it. So let's just say 20 points is the goal, right? And one team has 19 points and the other team has 18 points. Then the team with 19 points wins. But what if both teams... Okay, they're about to talk about tiebreaker. Okay, if teams are tied in points and the timer runs out, the match will go into sudden death. The team that gets the first kill will win the match. Okay, well that makes sense. At its heart, Fleet Fire is all being aggressive and making quick decisions, so get to work and sink those enemy ships. It's basically what the HUD will look like. Looks like the French faction versus a pirate faction for this one. So it kind of gives you an idea of what to expect here. And let's see, let's look down here. Battle 1 scoreboard. So this is what the scoreboard will look like. Not bad looking. So you'll have the pirate faction, French faction. I guess it'll just randomly put you on one faction at a time as you play through these team death matches. Now let's talk about Tiebreaker, which is the hardpoint mode. Tiebreaker is a team-based activity where two teams of players compete to control a single point which changes positions throughout the match. Here's what you can expect. The match begins. Once the match begins, you'll need to wait for the first control point to open. This is where the real battle starts. Capturing controlling points. Only one control point will be activated at any given time. Work with your teammates and take the maintained control point until it's completely captured. At least one team member must stay inside the zone in order to contest the zone. The team with the more members contesting the zone will contribute towards the control point progression. The more teammates in the zone, the faster the capture progression. The more enemies in the zone, the slower the capture progression. The capture of the control point, after capturing the control point, it will deactivate, and the following a short period of time, a new control point will appear in a different location. Beware, if there are less teammates contesting a control point, the opposing team will continue to make progress in capturing the control point, even if there are teammates contesting the control point. Okay. So victory points, each time your team captures a control point, your team will earn a victory point. Winning the match, the first team to earn 3 victory points will win the match. Tiebreaker, should a timer end and the teams have the same number of victory points, the match will head in a sudden death. The first team to capture the next control point will win the match. Tiebreaker is all about teamwork. You and your team will need to dominate the zone, outnumber the enemy, and capture those control points fast. So here's what the HUD, the UI for Tiebreaker will be. So see the different factions and the capture point that you have to sail towards. You got to fight over a capture point. The idea is to destroy the enemy, prevent them from going into that zone. It's kind of like, I guess, raise the flag or capture the flag. You probably played that kind of mode in Battlefield and Call of Duty, time and time again. So yeah, you just got to take over the zone. So that's pretty much self-explanatory. All right, so here's the scoreboard. So that's pretty much how that's going to work. And of course, there's going to be various rewards. I hope there's better rewards than just this, like just silver and the seasonal currency and some pieces of 8 and some materials for your ship. Hopefully there's a bit more to it than just that. I know people just want to do the PvP mode in the hopes that it's fun and replayable and maybe brings more people to the game, but you also got to have really good rewards, more than just that. Remember, captains, success in both Tiebreaker and Fleet Fire hinges on effective teamwork. You'll need to coordinate with your teammates to capture control points and sink enemy ships to lead your side to victory. Quick play. So there's also the quick play option. You guys may have noticed that. Just want to get around the intense naval combat as quickly as possible. Choose the quick play option from the Death Tides menu, which selects the mode that gets you firing your weapons in no time. So if you're just going in, I guess, solo, or you're just wanting a quick PvP match, whether it's Tiebreaker or Fleet Fire, just go into quick play and that will just randomly put you on a team, I guess, that's in need of one more player. There's also going to be several unique maps for Death Tides. When Death Tides launches, 4 distinct maps will be available, each offering unique challenges and gameplay opportunities. Both Fleet Fire and Tiebreaker will be playable on all 4 maps. So let's take a quick look at each of the maps. The first map is Brimstone, which is a 6 versus 6 map. Now, all 3 of these maps are 6v6. There's only one that's a 3v3 map. Its name is easily recognizable due to the prominent volcano in sight, no matter your position. This location is populated by small islands, offering plenty of cover while you wait to ambush enemy ships or work towards taking the control point. The next one is Sanctuary, which is 6v6. If you look carefully, you'll find a DMC settlement tucked away beside the island. Each team will spawn on the opposite side of the islands on different sizes, with power-up spread out in between. Layout of the map provides some time to strategize while the smaller islands offer cover. Sunken Ruins, also 6v6. As you sail around, you'll spot various shipwrecks. Look closer, you may also see the ruins of the lost settlements. Each team will start from the opposite side of the archipelago. Look for the shortest route across the map when traveling to the control points located around the islands. With the paramount, you should wish to succeed in Tiebreaker. The smallest map is the 3v3 map, Mukikti Falls. Some might say it's a little special, smaller, more up close and personal map by comparison. You'll face off in the 3v3 matches. Watch that you don't get distracted by the spectacle of waterfalls and unique rock formations. Expect to take your opponents at close range in the narrow river pass. Okay, so I guess these are some images of each one. So this one, I believe, is Brimstone. So Brimstone's the volcano one. This one's 6v6. So that gives you kind of a top-down idea of what the map for Brimstone will look like. And then the next one is Sanctuary. So I guess this one is Sanctuary. Yeah, so this one basically is just islands in the middle and then open water around it. So yeah, once again, Sanctuary. And the third one is Sunken Ruins. So I guess this one's Sunken Ruins, or is this one Sunken Ruins? You know, this one might be Sunken Ruins because the 3v3 map mentions something about a waterfall, and there's clearly a waterfall here. So this might, I don't know. But anyways, I guess we'll check them out whenever DevTides launches on May 27th. And hopefully all of these are really decent maps. Power-ups are scattered across the map with great temporary boosts and reload speed, whole health regeneration, sailing speed, and even repair kits. Incorporating the acquisition of these power-ups into your strategy can lead to an edge over your opponents. Power-ups spawn periodically and can be located on your map or mini-map. Reach them before your opponent. Seize these advantages for yourself. Ships, and more ships. In DevTides, you'll be able to have the option of either selecting one of many preset ships or using your own. I think most of us are just going to use our own ships for better or worse because there's a certain sense of pride and, you know, customizing, upgrading your ship and having, you know, the weapons and the furniture on your ship of choice. So I feel like most players will probably just use their own ships. Well, those of us that have fully upgraded vessels. Other players may prefer one of the custom ships, like, well, pre-selected made ships, whatever you wish to call them. If your ship is sunk during a match, you will have the opportunity to switch to a different one. So, for example, you go into battle with the Brigantine. You don't do so well. You decide, okay, I'm not doing so well with the Brigantine. I want to switch to a Battle Junk or a Sandbuck or maybe the new schooner. Then, in between kills, yeah, you'll get to switch to a different vessel. I like that because you may find yourself not doing so well in one type of ship, like a DPS ship, and then maybe you're like, you know what, my fleet doesn't have a healer on it. I'm going to switch to one of my healer ships so I can help my teammates, you know. So they're doing a better job than me. They're doing the heavy lifting. The least I can do is provide them some heals, right? So it's just about strategy and picking the right ship for each situation that works best for you. Ship presets. If you're new to Skull and Bones or would like to try something fresh, don't fret. You'll be able to choose from 6 ship presets, each designed to give you a taste of how to build your own fleet. And the presets are what I was referring to. So there are players that are going to want to try out the presets. And then there are those of us that are like, nah, we're good. We got our own ships. Equipped for success, each preset ship comes from outfitted with some of the best weapons, furniture available for the role. They are upgraded to the highest ship upgrade level possible, ensuring you can stand your ground and fight against more experienced captains and fully customized ship builds. For the record, I like this because there are going to be players that don't have fully upgraded ships because it takes a lot of time and a lot of materials and pieces of 8 to fully upgrade a ship, especially now. And you may want to do the PvP mode without using one of your ships because you might not have a fully upgraded vessel and you may not have the best weapons or furniture. So this does kind of even the playing field a bit for those players against the veterans, I guess the more hardcore Skull and Bones players like us that play the game all the damn time. Specialized roles. These ships are tailored to specific roles, giving you a taste of what's possible for when it comes to ship builds in Skull and Bones. Whether you want to deal maximum damage or support your teammates, there's a preset for you. All right, so here's the different presets. Damage. If you're looking to do as much damage as possible, consider a disruptor like a sloop, a pyrocast like a sandbuck. I love the sandbucks. I'm all about sandbucks, even though lately I've been using my new schooner more. But yeah, if you want a ship that's got some nice fire damage, go with a sandbuck. The Lancelot, which is a better, or a marksman, which is the Garuda. Garudas are good for like long range attacks if you're into that sort of thing. I kind of like mid range. I like getting close, sometimes really close. Sometimes I like to keep my distance, but you know, to each their own. That's why I like the different types of ships. But Garudas are definitely good for long distance. Support ships for those who prefer to assist their teams, like the Bark. It's an excellent choice. Tanks, if you're someone who prefers the act of the vanguard in the battle, if you want to be like in the front, right, leading the way, you'll be looking for the storm wall, which is going to be the battle junk. So that'll be, I guess, basically the siege ships are the tanks, right? And support ships are the healer ships. The damages are the DPS ships. Each of the presets will have unique ultimate assigned. We'll cover the ultimates further in the devlog. Preset ships offer a quick way to jump into death tides. Veteran captains will find great potential in crafting the preferred loadout in combination with modifications, which come with ascended weapons. So this gives you an idea of what you can expect on the Disruptor. The type of weapons. Looks like it's a torpedo-based ship, so this is going to be like a torpedo boat. The Black Prince armor. It's a pretty good armor. And the different furniture types. And then we got, let's see, the Lancelot here, a better. And we got, I think these are demi cannons, right? So this is good for like up close and personal. I don't like getting too close, but we also got the Immortal Vessel armor, as well as some furniture options. We got the Infernal Maul. That's a pretty good. I think that's a spring weapon. Yeah, so that's not bad. All right, so we got the Marksman. This is the Garuda, and obviously it's gonna have a bunch of long guns on it. Lapique 3s, of course. This is basically, I guess you could say, a poison ship plus with the mortar. Yeah, Buccaneer's Oath. I think Buccaneer's Oath is probably my favorite armor. Let's say in the unique furniture that obviously complements this marksmanship. So long range attack with, I guess you could say, long range gas attack with the marksman. And here's the support ship, the Paladin. And you can see with the white jades, this ship is basically designed to be a healing ship. But the front and the back are Halloween cannons. I love my Halloween cannons. I got so many of those from the Halloween event, and I always like using those and ascending them. I have them on my my sandbuck, and I also have them on my schooner. But yeah, I guess the side guns will be the white jade for healing your allies, and then for attacking enemies, you'll have a front and back gun in the heliports. And then you'll have the Little Grace 3, which is also a healing weapon. So you got 2 offensive weapons, and then you got 3 support weapons to help your teammates. So if you want to be a healer, the Paladin will be the way to go. Plus you got the Black Prince armor, and you got all this furniture, which complements this type of build. You got the Pyrocast, of course, the Sandbucks, fire ship, hell yeah. Blue Spectre, you know what's funny? Even though I love using my Sandbuck, I'm not really a flamer. I know that didn't sound right. But I prefer like guns that have like combustion or fire, like long guns in the front. That's kind of what I do. Or culverins on the side. I like culverins on the side. What do y'all think? But yeah, the Blue Spectre is probably the best, I guess, fire weapon. But they got bombards on everything, like the sides, the back. See, I only like putting bombards on the back. That's just me, though. I know everyone does it different, but I like having the bombard on the back of the ship. And then the Crouching Tiger. Crouching Tiger is pretty good. Buccaneer's Oath, once again. I like Buccaneer's Oath. And then the furniture, once again, to complement the Pyrocast. Stormwall. Okay, so this is the Vanguard ship, the Battle Junk. Definitely lightning-based with all these Divine Thunders. This is, I'll be honest, this is kind of lazy. Because they're just slapping Divine Thunder in the front, on the sides, in the back. And then Crouching Tiger. And then we got Celestial Dance with the armor. But anyways, I mean, this is going to be good for players that don't have the time to like fully upgrade a ship or send a ship with the best furniture or the best weapons. And they just want to do the PvP mode. So this is going to be good for them, these options. So once again, you got the Disruptor, you got the Lancelot, you got the Marksman, along with the Paladin, the Pyroclast, and of course the Stormwall as your options for players that want to do PvP but are not quote-unquote veteran pirates like some of us. Custom ships, seasoned captains. That's the word I was looking for. The seasoned captains can bring their own fleet into Depth Tides and sign up to 5 ships of your own Depth Tide fleet to the docking screen and choose from them. Okay, so that's how it's gonna work. You're gonna go into, I guess, your fleet assignment, like it says, and you're gonna pick out 5 ships from your own fleet for your Depth Tide fleet. So that is a good idea. Then you have something, like I said, like my Sandbuck would probably go in there, my Battle Junk, which is my lightning ship, and then my new ship, my schooner, which I love my schooner. And then I'll probably put one of my smaller ships for like a support ship. And then probably I have another small ship that I use for a torpedo boat. So I'll probably do that for my 5 ships for my Depth Tide fleet. That way I have a robust variety of options for playing Tiebreaker and Fleet Fire, depending on the play style and what my other people on my team, other pirates, captains, the rest of the fleet happens to be rocking, right? So I want to have something that complements them. Ship upgrades to ensure more level playing field. All ships will be automatically upgraded to level 7 for the duration of the match. Oh, that's interesting. So even if you're not fully upgraded with your own custom ship, it automatically upgrades to level 7. And so does the armor and the weapons. So that's interesting. So at the same time, my question to that is, then why have the presets anyways? Because then you're just allowing everybody to have a level 7 ship. But it's fine. It's not a big deal. I kind of disagree with this when it comes to custom ships, especially since they have the preset ships. If you go in with a custom ship and you're not going in with a level 7 or like weapons and armor fully upgraded, then that's your choice and you have to pay for those choices. So I don't know how I feel about having custom ships automatically upgraded to level 7. I mean, I know they're trying to even the playing field, but at the same time, that's part of the fun of the custom ships is to go in with the ship you have for better or worse. Hull health, upgraded ship levels will increase hull health, add perks, improve the overall performance of the ship. Weapons, all weapons will be upgraded to their highest tier of the same type, increasing damage output of the ship. For example, if you have a long gun 1 equipped, it will be upgraded to long gun 5 for the match. See, once again, I disagree with this. I know some people may disagree with my disagreement, which is fine. But I just think that when it comes to custom ships, it should be your choice, your responsibility, and the consequences on your hands. If you go into dev tides with a ship that's not fully upgraded, then you should pay the price for it. That's just how I feel about it. Armor. Similarly, all armor will be upgraded to their highest tier of the same type, increasing the armor rating, damage resistance of the ship. For instance, if you have, let's see, Steel Coat 1 equipped, it'll upgrade to Steel Coat 5. Whether you choose a preset or custom ship, it will respawn with full health. All stats effects applied before your ship will all be cleared. Okay, so it's not like whenever we're doing battles out on the sea against like convoys and elite captains and sea monsters, are the current honorless event, where if you're sunk, you obviously respawn, but you have damage that cannot be repaired until you go get it repaired. So when you're sunk in the PvP modes, when you respawn, you don't have to worry about that damage. That, I guess you could say, perma damage. It just is back to 100% health. Okay, I do agree with that. But once again, the custom ships should just be the way they are. When you load into a death tide with your custom ship, it shouldn't be bumped up. It should be like, hey, player beware. You can use your custom ship, but if you don't have it fully upgraded, you might end up paying the price for it. And that's why you would have the preset ships for players that don't have fully upgraded vessels. For the record, I do understand why they're going this route. I just kind of sort of disagree when it comes to the custom ships. Ultimates. In Dev Tides, you have access to additional abilities that you can unleash against your opponents. When used at the right time, these powerful abilities have the potential to turn the tide of battle. Ultimates require different levels of ultimate charge to be used. Ultimate charge builds passively but can be further accelerated by damaging or sinking opponents, taking damage, or healing teammates. The launch of Dev Tides offers 11 varied ultimates to choose from, which are progressively unlocked by playing any of the Dev Tides game modes. 3 of them are unlocked immediately, which you can assign to your ship through the Manage Ship menu. The ultimates are La Plus Grand Fior, which fires a volley of poison mortars into the area. Hunter grants a huge bonus in sailing speed and weapon fire rate. La Peste Signal Launcher summons La Peste to fight for your team. What if everybody on your team has that? And what, you get a whole bunch of La Pestes joining the battle and helping you out? Ultimates fall into 3 categories, each providing your team and you with the certain advantages throughout the match. Power weapons are temporary weapons automatically equipped on your ship when activated. Once equipped, you can have the option to choose when you want to fire these weapons. When you run out of ammunition, they will automatically be unequipped and your ship will revert back to your original weapon loadout. Combat skills apply temporary benefits. Bastion confers temporary invulnerability. Combat Fury increases damage dealt, adds hull health and stamina. Summon legendary entity that will support your team in fighting your enemy. Each team is limited by one legendary summon. Okay, so I guess it answers the question I just have. If you all want to use Lepest, too bad. One Lepest per fleet, please. I don't know. I feel like instead of like elite ships, like smaller ships that are kind of an annoyance but not too difficult. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like having a ship like Lepest, an elite warship, come in, or any of the other elite warships like the Hubrick twins, I feel like having Lepest is too much of an advantage. The same would go for almost any other the top tier elite captains. Maybe like support ships would spawn in, like NPC support ships would come in and would just basically be a distraction, a menace for the rival fleet. At least like it would force them to have to deal with these smaller ships, especially like the little suicide ships that sometimes spawn, in order to give you a little bit of a breathing room if you're trying to regroup, or if you want to push the attack even harder on the enemy and just, send more ships after them. I'd rather have that than, one elite warship that might be too one-sided against the enemy. But apparently there's going to be 11 of these ultimates total. These just happen to be the first 3 that you can unlock. So I imagine there's going to be signal launchers for some of the other elite captains in the game from like season 2, 3, 4, and maybe some of the ones that you come across throughout the oceans of Skull and Bones. So that's probably going to be a thing, for better or worse. Team chat, something that a lot of us probably won't use. With a fleet of up to 6 teammates, communication becomes even more important and secured in certain victory. There are new sets of quick actions messages available in Death Tides, which will help facilitate communication when attempting to secure capture points or rally your teammates. The default chat channel will also be set to team upon entering the Death Tides, though you can still send CGLHF or GG to your opponents by switching to the word chat. Additionally, team voice chat will be available in Death Tides and can be enabled through the settings menu. Be sure to set your input and output devices correctly to test the fellow captain before the match, lest all your commands sink into the void. So I do feel like this will give players that sell together an advantage, especially if they're like in a party chat on console or Discord, because they'll be able to communicate better. But there's a lot of us that will just be in there just doing the best we can. So I guess you're going to have to rely on the quick messages and hope that there's enough options like, hey, I need help. You can just see somebody post help, or like come to this position on me or whatever, or heal me, in order to be able to quickly assess what your teammates need during the battle. All right, so let's talk about rewards. Infamy. The rewards you earn will be based on a combination of your individual and team performance. You can earn up to 1,000 infamy for each match. PvP XP. After completing each match, you will earn PvP XP, which will unlock rewards in the Death Tides reward track. Most rewards you earn from playing Death Tides can be used in both the Indian Ocean and Death Tides. All rewards unlockable in Death Tides are available in the main game. There'll be no rewards other than ultimates that are exclusive to Death Tides. So the ultimates will stay in Death Tides. You cannot use ultimates in the other world, in the main world of Skull and Bones. But there will be some unlockable cosmetics and maybe some weapons, maybe some furniture in Death Tides that you can bring over into the Indian Ocean. Rewards include unlockable ultimates only usable in the PvP. Ships, weapons, armor, furniture, resources can be aid to your progression in the Indian Ocean. There are 100 levels of rewards for the initial launch of Death Tides. Also, recurring chests that can be repeatedly obtained after the initial 100 levels. We intend to extend the rewards track with bigger rewards and better rewards in the future. Smuggler points. Additionally, completing matches will also grant you smuggler points on the seasonal Smuggler's Pass. Whether you're defeating legendary kingpins on the Indian Ocean or bloodthirsty captains in Death Tides, you're sure to make progress towards recruiting the cute tiger as part of your crew. So if you're looking for another way to get through your Smuggler's Pass, then Death Tides will be a great option for you as well, because you're going to be able to earn Smuggler's points in Death Tides as well as everything else that's currently in Skull and Bones. So one of the rewards they mention here is the better chest, special chest containing weapons, armor, furniture suited for the better. as well as customization for any ship on the Indian Ocean, are dev tides. Obtaining this chest grants you the Terran Colvin, Iron Husk, Rope Locker, and more to get you started with customizing your ship. So I'm guessing there's going to be unique cosmetics. At least I hope there's unique cosmetics that you can only get in dev tides that you can bring over into the Indian Ocean in order to, I guess you have a little flex when you're sailing around and people are like, hey, what's up with that cool looking sail or hull color or fireworks or whatever. And then you're like, hey, I got this in dev tides, baby. That's how you get this sweet looking drip. Balancing. With the launch of dev tides, we want to reaffirm our commitment, focus on balancing. Our aim remains to ensure long-term, fair, fun experience in both PvP and PvE for all players. Throughout Year 1, with the launch of Year 2 Season 1, we've made many changes to the balancing and gameplay based on feedback from the Skull and Bones community. Going forward, we intend to deploy more regular balancing updates in order to address issues reported by our players. This means taking a more proactive stance, also implementing normalization changes, whereby all ships are the highest upgrade levels. Upgrade weapons, armor are brought to the highest tiers of their type. This is designed to ensure that all ships brought into dev tides are on a more equal footing to compete. So I do on one end understand the balancing for dev tides, but at the same time, I do like the idea of choosing a custom ship from your own fleet, even if it's not fully upgraded, and then you have to reap the consequences for not having that ship fully upgraded. But at the end of the day, they decided that balancing the ships works better, and if it means the game mode is more enjoyable for everybody, and dev tides is something that ends up being, as they say, has a long-term, fair and fun experience for the PvP modes of dev tides, then who am I to disagree? Some of the latest balance changes that they've made coming with the upgrade that'll improve dev tides, diminishing return system for shell shock status effect introduced Year 2 Season 1 has been improved to make it harder to repeatedly apply the effect of the same target with shorter time. Additionally, this updated system will now apply to the torn sail status effect. Duration of shell shock status effect on player ships has been reduced from 5 seconds to 3.3 seconds. Difficulty to build up initial shell shock status effect on player ships has been increased by 20%. Stamina drain from LePec 1 through 3 long guns has been halved to reduce the impact it has on brace effectiveness in players in PvP. Stamina drain by training the sails have been heavily reduced while outside combat, allowing more stam to be available for bracing hits when players do engage in combat. These are only the latest balancing changes being made to preparation for the release of dev tides next week. These changes come in addition to many other changes we've made since we started working on our dedicated PvP game mode, including various changes to the presets, ultimates, power-ups, match pacing, spawn points, contribution scoring progression, rewards, matchmaking to ensure more balanced, fair experience for all. These changes were guided by data analysis from our testing, feedback gathered by the community, and general evolution of the game direction. Each time the changes are made, they are revalidated by the internal balance experts and revalidated through data analysis of larger scale tests. Beyond the release of dev tides, we also want to reassure players that our commitment to regular balance changes, starting from the patch next week, we're preparing for a series of increased balance reacting for a couple weeks. See, we are mindful when implementing balance changes for PvP. It will also have an impact on the PvE elements, and this will be part of our decision process when considering future changes. In the medium term, we aim to continue making regular balance changes when we collate the release of judgments based on analysis data and collected player sentiments. This regular cadence will help us accurately quantify the impact of our changes to the external and internal testing. At the same time, provide a predictability time for players to adjust to new builds and adapt to the meta. Our vision of the metagame and build variety of Skull and Bones is centered around building depth, core mechanics, and expanding the possibility of playstyles that players can experience. Balance is the key element in breaking preferred builds. We do look forward to an increased frequency of balance changes in the near future. What's going to happen to PvP in the Indian Ocean? Dev Tides is our answer to the long-awaited request for dedicated PvP mode in Skull and Bones. While we're not planning major changes to these activities on the short term, we hope to Arrival of Dev Tides will rekindle your interest in participating in PvP activities in the Indian Ocean as well. Don't hesitate to let us know your thoughts and suggestions on how you'd like the open world PvP activities to evolve in the future. In other words, don't stop sinking other captains to claim the coveted manufactory. Future. Even though we are making the Dev Tides available for everyone starting next week, it's still considered to be in its beta stage, which is why beta tag will still be visible on Dev Tides button in the main menu. This means we are dedicated to improving the game mode for the long term with the help of our community, feedback we receive. We're also exploring other modes that could be introduced, additional new maps, other quality of life improvements. Make sure to share your feedback on Dev Tides as it will be invaluable in helping us continue building the mode in the future. I wouldn't really consider myself to be a PvP player, but I am interested in trying out Dev Tides and see how good or bad I do, along with how much fun it hopefully is for all players, along with the replayability and the rewards. So hopefully Dev Tides, which we've been waiting for a quick minute now in Skull and Bones, turns out to be a success. I'm also hoping that they have other modes planned in the future besides Fleet Fire and Tiebreaker. It would be kind of cool if they added a Battle Royale mode. I guess it would have to be a big open ocean map with maybe some small islands in between. And then they would have to evenly spread the ships and then make it to where you're basically fighting in a solo mode, or maybe even teams of 2 or 3 in order to whittle it all the way down to I guess you could say a victory royale, just like in Fortnite. I know, battle royales are kind of tiresome, but reality is we're only going to have 2 modes at the beginning for Dev Tides, and hopefully people enjoy Dev Tides and we see more modes added. And it would make sense for one of those future modes to be a battle royale. Maybe not 100 ships, but maybe 20 or 30 ships, or depending on how many ships fit into your standard Skull and Bones server. Article link below in the description section. Your thoughts, views, and opinions regarding Dev Tides coming May 7th to Skull and Bones. Welcome, as always, below in the comments section.